right now. We'll start it off with a
Yo,
transfer.
Mikey, where's the show? I'm worried about you.
Yeah, time to mute my phone. So sorry, Evan. He asked me to do something like video games or something or anything every Tuesday, and every Tuesday I'm like podcast. All right. Anyway, we are back for another Last Call podcast. My name is Mikey T. I'm joined as always through the power of the internet by Tristan.
Still alive.
Yeah,
My studio is moving in the wrong direction. Worse, not better. Now I have a disassembled futon in the background for your enjoyment.
honestly, it doesn't look much different from what I have going on. Mine's just a little nerdier.
Yeah, but if you like start looking in the background, you're like, oh man, look at all these cool pops and like these like kind of old school looking signs. And like you even got like an old video game system in the background. Like it's such a shit. Like I just have like just shit behind me. It's literally a disassembled futon and
yeah, that frame there.
like empty boxes and like it got worse, not better, but this is my life now.
So speaking of worse, not better, we have both missed some time on the podcast.
Woo!
Yeah, it's been a little crazy. So 2 weeks ago, you had to miss the show because I mentioned it, but you can go into the details.
So Sunday night, I'm sitting around with my family, and there's a storm coming in. We knew it was going to rain and shit like that. And we're sitting around, and the wind's picking up, and the wind's picking up, and the wind's picking up. And all of a sudden, it's blowing so hard that, like, I could see my windows flexing. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm watching, and I'm like, I'm not panicking. I'm, like, right on that edge. I'm like, if it gets any worse, we're all going to the basement.
Right.
But as soon as it starts, it's over. We have tornado sirens here. There's one not too far away. I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, holy shit, that was crazy. So I go outside, all my fucking lawn furniture is like blown away. I have a basketball hoop, like a freestanding basketball hoop that came with the house. That motherfucker is like blown over. The wind has blown so hard, my barbecue has been knocked over. Like this is like a full-size fucking barbecue. I'm like, what the fuck happened out here? Like the neighborhood is just a wreck. I mean, there are roofs missing and shit like that. I mean, this is like, first world problems a wreck.
No, my barbecue.
Right? Yeah. No, my lawn furniture is in my neighbor's yard. But during all the wind blowing, the power goes out. I'm like, oh well, that sucks. Probably a tree branch fell in a line. And what turned out would happen, it wasn't a tornado. It was something I'd never heard of called a microburst, which is where fucking God's fury descends out of the sky, essentially straight downward.
What?
It's like the reverse of a tornado. A tornado sucks things up. A microburst, this shit comes downward and it blows outward from the sky. And we had
fucking sucks.
Yeah, no shit. We had 100-mile-an-hour winds for like 3 minutes. It didn't go on for a long time. We lost power, so I report to my power company that power is out, and they're like, "Oh, power will be restored by I forget what the date was. Power will be restored by November 3rd." And I'm like, by 6 p.m. I'm like, "Oh, all right, babe. That's it'll be back up by tomorrow." And she's like, that's not what it says. It says it'll be back up November 6th by 6 p.m. So it's like 5 days from then.
Okay.
So we lost power, and it turns out what happened was it knocked down a power pole that was carrying 30,000 volts. It was so high powered that the line was arcing 60 feet at anything that got near it. Yeah. It was like a custom cut power pole too. Like I guess these weren't, factory stock power poles. They had to be cut somewhere. So apparently for the first day, all these guys did was like come up with their plan. Like they like how to approach this line and like fucking figure it out. We were without power for 3 days, 4 days. We got it back on Wednesday, I think, because it happened Sunday, didn't have it Monday. Tuesday came around, and that's when we were like, well, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And it finally came back on Wednesday. And, when you don't have power for 24 hours, shit gets real.
And it's not even just right off the bat, just that it's like uncomfortable, because when you lose power, things that you just take for granted, you forget about. Like you walk into a dark room and you hit the light switch and nothing happens, and you're like, oh right, no power. Like it's weird. I don't know. I don't think any of us would have survived in old times.
I love it for like a night, right? Like, oh, let's bust out the fucking candles and flashlights. And, you know, we were Boy Scouts, like, you know, we're kind of experts in getting around in the dark. And like, you know, I kept having to like try to teach my family, like, you don't use a flashlight fucking every conceivable second, because then you can't see in the dark without the flashlight. Like, just chill out for a second. Like, you know, let the candles do their job, or just, you know, get around, use the moon, you know, like that kind of shit. So it's fun for like a night. And then the next day you're like, oh shit, well, like all the grocery stores are out of food, and all the food in my refrigerator is bad. And now it's going to be, that night it was going to be like 28 degrees out. So I'm like, how do I heat my house? You know,
and your house out there is probably pretty big, isn't it?
It's very big. Yeah, it's a big open space, so it's really hard to like keep heat in. And I got 2 kids. I got 2 young kids. I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna like keep this place warm?
It's like we're losing one of you tonight.
Yeah. We're gonna cut one of you open and crawl inside. So I start on, I think it was Monday afternoon. I start looking for a generator, and every store within 100 miles is sold out of generators by Monday at 5 o'clock. Every single one of them at all cost levels. Like the Home Depots, we're calling Home Depots, and Home Depots are picking up the phone going, thank you for calling Home Depots. We have no generators. How can I help you? Like,
that's smart.
So I had to drive 100 miles to fucking Pittsburgh to buy the last generator they had at a Home Depot. I bought this shit online, and I was like, I'll come pick it up. And so I went out there on Tuesday. I got the generator going. I got a space heater going. I got the room warm for the evening. I was like, all right, we're good for whatever amount of time this takes. And of course, the following morning, that's when the power fires back up. But you know, what are you going to do? But it was, you know, it's fun for a day. But like when the gas starts to sell out and the water's like all the ice is gone in town, that's when shit starts to get weird. But we survived.
That's what when people are always like, oh man, I'd love to be in a zombie apocalypse, it'd be so cool. I was like, nah, the average person doesn't want to go through not having power for 3 days. Like,
oh yeah,
if everything in the world shuts down, shit does get wild. I mean,
one of my favorite books is called 1 Second After, and it's about an EMP goes off, right, in the upper atmosphere. There's a couple of them go off. The entire United States, the power grid gets shut down. And it's all about like, you know, there aren't even like armies or zombies or anything like that coming. It's just shit going bad because there's no power and there's no medicine and there's no fucking food, and people are stealing from each other and murdering each other for food and clean water and that kind of shit. And it's really fucking scary. There's a quote that's like, no civilization is more than 3 meals from a revolution. Like,
that's a great point there.
But we got power back, and fuck it.
Yeah, so we conquered one hurdle, and then you were actually coming into town, so we made a day out of it. Went out, visited some of the places that I'm connected to through the industry.
It's good times out there bar hopping. The only problem with bar hopping like that is, I think I saw like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different, like, you know, friends from back home, and they all want to buy you their favorite shot, which happens to be fucking 6 different liquors. Yeah. I think I had tequila. I had some kind of tequila. I had Tito's. I had Hennessy. I had Fireball.
Yeah, and I got hit especially hard. People.
I got butt fucked. Dixon is like, come on, man, you got to dance. I'm like, I'm not that fucking drunk, dude. Like,
just come dance with me and the boys. Let's just get in the circle and dance. Jeez.
Yeah, I was pretty roasted, but it was a good time. It was good to go back home and see everybody and hang out.
but I won't go into the details. But essentially, we missed the next show because I found out the hard way that 15 versus 1 is not a favorable odd situation, and had to take some time off and get better. But
one day we'll tell the story.
yeah. But
Not today.
yeah, not today.
Ah.
But it's a pretty crazy situation. But everything worked out in the end, so we're back.
Alive.
Yeah, everybody survived, allegedly. So let's see what we got going on. We got, oh man, I keep forgetting. Every time I see this, it just depresses me. Just the amount of sexual assault going around in every facet of life now.
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know how to deal with it at this point. Like, part of me is like, you know, the liberal douche in me is like, oh, finally, you know, the fucking patriarchy's coming down. Like, you can't just treat women like objects. And then the other part of me is like, well, is everybody who's ever like hit on a girl a little hard gonna fucking lose their goddamn career at this point? Like,
well, that's what I wonder. Like, some of them have been really bad, but then others, it's like, it sounds like he was just talking to you, or you know, something similar. Maybe coming on a little too strong or something like that. And I don't know. I guess because I'm in the bar industry and I see some of the worst. Like, to me, that's pretty mild, and I don't know if I'd call it
right.
I don't think I'd call that sexual assault. It's creepy as fuck and should not be condoned. But
right,
I feel like it when somebody is calling it sexual assault, when somebody said something a little creepy to them, I think that devalues the real sexual assault, where like people are getting molested and raped and all this other horrible stuff. And then, you know, someone's like, well, he talked he said, well, I have a nice ass. Like, yeah, that's creepy, and that guy's an asshole.
right.
But I don't know if I'd put that as a sexual predator just yet.
He cornered me and called me sweet cheeks and you know, was really aggressive and breathed on my neck, and you're like, that's fucking Friday night at Naughty's, baby.
Yeah, I know. I see that way too much. Maybe I'm just desensitized. I don't know.
No, I get it. There's weird lines here. Like, I read one of the ones that hit me really hard was Louis C.K. Right? I mean, obviously he's a guy that I admire and he's a pretty brilliant comedian. And I read his apology the other day, and one of the things that he brings up that's interesting, that I believe him. It doesn't make it okay, but one of the things that he addresses is he's like, yeah, I take my dick out in front of women, but I always ask first. I always say, is it okay if I take my dick out? And they always say yes. But what I failed to understand was that I was abusing my power as somebody who was in charge of them, or, you know, held their career in my hands, that it wasn't fair of me to ask that of them. So now you end up in these weird, you know, even if he asks and they say yes, it's still not okay.
Yeah,
I get it. It's still not okay. Because, like, you know, I think about, you know, my wife or my daughter, you know, if they get stuck in a room with their boss and their boss is like, can I take my dick out? Like, the rest of the quote there is, can I take my dick out or your career's over? That's not fair. That's not something I want in the world, right?
I don't know. Maybe I just don't put much faith in my career. I think I'd have to, if I was in that sort of situation, I'd have to hold back from being violent. Like,
but I mean,
I don't know.
But you don't.
My wife has, you know, guys have come up to her, and like, I know when we first started dating, we were at Secrets in Ocean City, and a guy came up behind her and tried to undo her bikini top.
Jesus.
And she turned around and clocked the guy. And I'm like, that's just how I imagine. You know, not everyone. You know, it doesn't have to go.
Goes down to the law firm.
Yeah, I'm not saying, you know, girls have to go out there and assault guys that sexually assault them, but I don't know. It disappoints me that people feel like they have to go along with, and I guess that's more of a comment on how terrible the situation is that they're put in, because they feel they need to do that, and it's a shame.
I get it though. Like, you've been working basically for free in a shit industry like the entertainment industry for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and finally you're a PA or a supporting actor on a Louis C.K. production who's the hottest comedian in the industry right now, and he doesn't want to rape you. He just wants you to watch him jerk it. Like, it's fucking terrible. But in that instance, you just bite the bullet and do it. Nobody should ever be put in that position. It's not okay. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I get the mindset of the woman who's like, okay. And then maybe a few years later is like, nah, that fucking wasn't okay.
Yeah. It makes sense. When you look at it, you absolutely understand how they felt that way and how they ended up reacting that way. But I don't know. It's
hard out there for a pimp.
That should be the name of the episode. It's hard out there for a pimp.
It's fucking. So one of the ones that's interesting that's come out of this is Jeremy Piven. Have you heard about this?
I didn't hear what the initial thing was. I know he took like a polygraph tests and stuff to prove that he wasn't. And I'm like,
so I guess this came out of like before this latest round of accusations. This woman comes out, is like, hey, remember that time you cornered me in my trailer and grabbed my boobies and called me names or whatever? And he says, nope, that never happened. I've never met you. You were never in my trailer. And he's held fast on this for, I guess, several months. And then finally, somebody like administered a polygraph to him. They're like, yeah, no, it's pretty clear. Like he believes he didn't do it. Now Jeremy Piven may be a psychopath. He may actually believe he didn't do it if he did.
Yeah, I thought, because I mean, we all know polygraphs aren't terribly accurate.
It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it doesn't tell if you're lying or not. It tells if you're uncomfortable or not. And obviously, you can tell just by how Jeremy Piven acts. He is very comfortable with himself. Like, I'm sure
half a sociopath.
Yeah, I doubt he would have much trouble passing any polygraph.
I bet he's got one of those memberships at one of those like North Korean people hunting grounds, where like you go and you get to hunt a guy for like $100,000. Jeremy Piven would be that guy.
I believe it, and the witty banter that would go along with it would be priceless. They need a reality show where Jeremy Piven hunts humans.
I gave up cocaine years ago. This is all I need now. This rushing through my veins.
That would be the only reality television that I would watch.
Jeremy Piven hunts a Korean guy.
Oh man, there's got to be somewhere they can do that. I mean, the more and more we become desensitized to violence, we're heading down that path. We're gonna have the Hunger Games eventually.
He brings the cast of Entourage with him, but they're like fucking horrified that this is going on. Like, he doesn't tell them where they're going. They just have to watch. It's
like, what was that movie with Ice-T and all that? It was like surviving the game.
Surviving the game, not the most dangerous game. Surviving the game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would be like that, but the one guy that's uncomfortable, it'd be that like one person is Jeremy Piven is played by Gary Busey, and then everyone else is just the uncomfortable person. Like, what are we doing?
Jeremy, no!
It's whatever happened to Gary Busey?
Oh, fucking, I don't know, dead or I honestly have no idea. He might be dead.
He is so insane. I wonder, like, you probably wouldn't see accusations come out against him because he's just like, rather than, hey, can I beat it in front of you? He's like, can I jerk off in your toaster? Like, right? You fucking nutbag, what is wrong with you?
Some poor woman, like, 3 years ago, Gary Busey
abused my
jerk off into my toaster. Everybody be like, yeah, I mean,
it's Gary Busey, man.
Yeah, he jerks off in everybody's toaster. Like,
it's just kind of his thing. I don't know. We just kind of got used to it.
Hey Siri, what happened to Gary Busey?
Hold it up.
What happened to Gary Busey? Oh,
turn something up for Gary Busey. Have a look.
Nah, you just GaryBusey.com. He has a website.
It'd be more hilarious if it was like just a porn site.
Holy shit! It looks like it's from the 90s.
Oh, does that have like broken links and like unnecessary JavaScript?
No, it's just like a shitty like WordPress page. Oh, I guess Gary was in a Netflix special, I guess.
It was?
Yeah. Oh,
Netflix,
and he's in a
I don't
live
know.
play. Well, it was a cartoon. Mr. Peabody and Sherman, I guess, is a new Netflix cartoon. He did a voice in that.
Fuck if I know.
This is way less exciting than I want. It's like a picture of his wife and kid or something. This is.
I'm still going off of that. Like, whatever happened to Jake Busey since what he did, like Starship Troopers, and that was it?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I enjoyed some Jake Busey in small doses. I think he's in something else, but I don't know what.
Line.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's a lot of mental illness there.
I just think it's crazy that they have a face to go along with it. Like if you wanted a picture to represent mental illness, Gary Busey would be it.
He'd be on the poster for antipsychotics at like the psychiatrist's office.
Like the meth, not even once.
Yeah. Except his teeth are too good for meth. He looks like a guy who used to be on meth, but he fought it off.
Yep. And then got some pearly whites put in.
Yeah, exactly. The fucking veneers and stuff like that. Yeah, but he's still like fucking mentally scarred. Yeah, that's not even once.
In a nutshell. I feel like nutshell is oddly appropriate.
Speaking of crazy, Charles Manson is dead.
Oh.
I mean, Marilyn Manson. Which one is dead?
Definitely Charles Manson. Although Twitter couldn't tell the difference, and that's fucking hilarious. Because I think so. Apparently, people on Twitter were saying "R.I.P. Charles Manson" and showing pictures of Marilyn Manson. It's like you had to search to find that picture. It definitely would have said Marilyn Manson under it or on it. You had.
That sounds like something that
reasons you shouldn't have posted that.
That sounds like something 4chan probably started, right? Like that was their doing.
Ooh, ultimate troll. I like that.
Yeah. Where they put out, and then like because they like they'll get an army going, right? Doing Google searches and stuff like that, and they'll end up relating a picture to, they'll end up changing the algorithm. They did something like that with George Bush many years ago, and I can't remember what it was now.
Oh, you look up
search for
miserable failure, and it brings up his White House page.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I bet they did something similar. That seems like something they'd be into, fooling everybody to think Marilyn Manson is dead.
There was I'm trying to remember what it was, but apparently it was some YouTuber got his entire fan base of millions or whatever to mess with the Google search algorithm, so that as soon as you typed in "is," the next thing it filled in was Kev Jumba, a heterosexual bear wrestler. So I was typing something into Google and did "is" and just saw this long ass thing pop up. I was like, what the heck was that? And then like backed up, the Kev Jumba, what is this? And I looked it up. That's fucking awesome. I don't know who this guy is, but that fucking search bar is hilarious.
There's nothing more fun than typing single and double words into Google and just seeing what dumb shit people come up with. The only thing more fun might be typing serious questions into Yahoo Answers and seeing the kind of answers that come up.
If you really want to see what the wealth of stupidity of the human race, you go to Yahoo Answers.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Am I pregnant?
Yeah, pregnant. Pregante. My favorite video of all time. Watch that on loop. Speaking of the depths of humankind, we had our first day back at Portales and Ghost Bar.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Yesterday. It was pretty crazy. So we came in, we had all the construction done over the last year and a half, and then I was coming in for our first day open just for drinks and stuff, and all of Ellicott City basically made it out. It was a great showing from all the regulars and locals in town and everything. And it was a good time, but it was just chaos because, we didn't have any chance to like battle test the system, and the screens weren't set up in the computer.
Oh,
Not
you
to mention,
couldn't do like a soft opening kind of thing.
yeah. So, well, this was sort of supposed to be our soft opening, but it happened that we did it on one of my more popular days for like regulars and stuff. It's our industry night.
I see.
So like everybody came out. It was pretty crazy. It was awesome to see everybody, but it was a little nuts. We not only had we reverted the POS, the point of sale system, so it was set up more for Portales fine dining and not for Ghost Bar, which is speed bartending. So I'm sitting there trying to add five different things to 5 people's checks, and it's like slow. You have to go through like 15 menus to get the stuff you need.
Oh God, that sounds like
just
my
everything.
nightmare.
But we made it through. I had one of our guys jumped on and helped me out through the night. We made it through. We managed to have our get all the check boxes off. We already had somebody throw up in the bathroom.
Hooray!
We already had people get in a fight. We had somebody walk out on a tab.
Somebody get finger blasted at the bar?
Thankfully, we've never had that. That's more.
That's just the Nottingham's thing. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
So maybe one day we'll have. I mean, Friday should be pretty crazy. Maybe finger blasting Fridays.
Finger bean Fridays.
Yeah, it could be happening. Tune in next week when we find out. But yeah, so really, one of the reasons we decided to open this week is the night before Thanksgiving every year is one of the craziest nights in the bartending industry.
Sure.
Everybody's home for the holidays. Nobody wants to actually see their family except for the day that they have to.
The minimum amount of time.
So all the college kids and, mid-20s and stuff, like everybody goes out to the bars. So it's just everybody that's home from college and has no idea to have any bar etiquette is out to drink.
It's kind of funny, right? Like you have some drinks like when you're a teenager, and you're like, all right, I got this. And then you're like 21, 22, and you're like, man, I was so dumb when I was 19. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. Now I know how to drink. Even into your like mid to late 20s, you're like, now I'm a fucking professional. And you look back on it in your mid 30s, you're like, I was still a complete asshole. Like,
oh, I'm absolutely. I mean, I work in the bar industry. I'm absolutely still a piece of shit when I go to the bar. Like, I think it's inevitable. You put alcohol into people and they just become worse versions of themselves.
God, isn't that the fucking truth?
But it should be crazy. So the changes at Portales, of course, for those that don't know, we were damaged in the flood in Ellicott City over a year and a half ago.
Damage is putting it lightly. Destroyed.
Yeah, pretty much destroyed. There was there was only one wall, I think, that was still fully intact. Every other wall was at least missing some part of it. We lost the foundation from under the building. It had to be jacked up like almost a foot on one side. So we basically had to move the whole building to rebuild it. And so it took, between that and doing some renovations, it took a lot longer than we first expected to get back. But now that we're getting there, it's pretty cool. So we got a bar downstairs, a bar on the second floor, and a bar on our back deck. So it's going to be pretty insane because there's a lot of places to get drinks in one building. So we should
bringing it back to life.
Yeah, we're going to be packed to the gills tomorrow. So
that's awesome. It's tomorrow it's the night before Thanksgiving. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
And then of course everybody goes to their families the next day all hungover, and life moves on.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, I guess so. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Coming home at all?
No, I'm coming like 90% of the way there, but not making it the whole way. So my in-laws have a place out in West Virginia. And we used to go out there every year for it, and we're gonna still do that. So we're gonna drive. I'll get done with work tomorrow, maybe 3:00, and then we'll drive 4.5 hours down there, and we'll be in West Virginia till Saturday, I guess, and then we'll come back up here.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah, 4.5 hours in the car with children under 5. Yeah, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah. Well, as long as you don't kill yourself, it'll be all good.
I keep forgetting you can't see me pantomiming, putting a gun under my chin, and
Oh yeah. Anytime you're playing the mime, let me know. So
right. Yeah. Because I was doing the heroin earlier, and now this.
I got that because I could hear it. Like,
oh, you get get those dead Koreans in my veins.
I hope somebody just tuned in just now and has no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Like, get those dead Koreans. We just talked about it. I'm still a little confused.
So I watched a movie on I don't know what day it was. A few days ago. I was home by myself. I think that my wife and kids weren't home yet, and it was on HBO. I think it came up. It's on HBO right now, or Cinemax or something like that. It's called Legend, and it stars Tom Hardy. And I see the description, and it's like two brothers rise to the criminal underworld in 1960s London, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Tom Hardy.
The one where he plays two roles, right?
Yeah, he fucking plays two brothers. It's the fucking dumbest shit I ever seen in my life. I mean, he does a really good job at both parts, but I still can't get over the fact that, like, he's playing fucking two parts on the same screen for no fucking reason. There's nobody else who could do it. There's nobody you could get to, like, play another guy. They had to be twins.
Hey, sometimes it's the spectacle that sells the movie, so...
Yeah, except the spectacle is fucking dumb. Also, everybody speaks in a really like severe Cockney accent, and I couldn't understand 2/3 of what was going on. So I got through about 45 minutes of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm good here.
Oh, really?
I get it.
I thought I heard that it was good, so...
Maybe if you have more patience, or you like art, or... are intrigued by a man playing himself and his own brother. Like, each individual performance was really good. Don't get me wrong. Like, he plays two completely different guys who look kind of similar. One of the guys is like actually crazy and gay, and the other guy is just this like striking, handsome gangster. Like, it's interesting, but it's interesting for 4 minutes, and then you're distracted the whole time because there's two fucking Tom Hardys on screen talking to one another. This is the fucking 1960s. The fucking Dick Van Dyke movie.
Oh, I don't know that.
I don't either. It just seems like a thing that Dick Van Dyke would have done in the 1960s.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I think I saw the one of the fight scenes from that where the two of them are in a bar. They just
it's in the first like 15 minutes. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so I've seen that. So that's probably the most important part. I'll just assume I've seen everything I need to.
Movies like that, like they do this thing where they'll put like an action beat like every 25 minutes or so just to keep you kind of, attached. Scarface, I think, is like that. Scarface gets an action beat about every half hour just to keep you invested, because if it was just him fucking talking in that horrible Cuban accent for 3 hours, you would have bailed 45 minutes in.
I love that movie, but that accent is so terrible.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize it until I was in my 30s.
Oh, yeah. When you go back as an adult and watch it, you're like, that doesn't sound anything. It sounds like somebody mocking a Cuban accent.
I never really thought about it as Al Pacino. I just thought about it as Scarface, right? Like, it's just that guy. That's the part. That's the accent. And then as soon as you think like, oh, that's fucking Al Pacino doing the worst Cuban accent in the planet. Yeah, it's really striking.
Your little cockroach.
And it's 3 fucking hours long.
It is a long ass movie. I don't know how I ever made it through when I was younger. I think it was just because it was such a shocking movie. So you're like, oh yeah, it's badass because it's like aggressive and.
Well, and if you're in your 20s and it's about this guy just like rising through the system and just fucking up everyone in his way, and you're just watching it and trying not to let your roommate know you're jerking off. Like, it's like, it's exciting when you're that age. Then you get over it, you let your dreams die.
Unless you're Louis C.K., and then you definitely tell everybody that you're jerking it.
Hey guys, I'm jerking off in here. If anybody wants to, quote unquote, wander in.
Oh no, you caught me. Again.
Louis, this is my room.
My bad. Gary Busey, get off of my toaster. There's fucking crazy people in this world. So
I just had an image of an entire apartment full of celebrities just jerking off onto things.
that's
Charlie Rose in the corner. Like,
so you spoke about the pacing and move. You know, you change it up a little bit just to keep people sort of invested.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that, you know, we always end up talking about superhero movies, but you know what Marvel ends up doing. You know, they have these superhero outlandish action movies, and then they just, you know, pepper in a little bit of humor,
Yeah. Yep.
sporadically, and then it, you know, keeps people a little more invested. So you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like a little comedic break every once in a while.
Keeps the tone light. You know, the movie doesn't fold in on itself, kind of thing. Yeah.
And I heard that. Well, obviously, our favorite Batman vs Superman, that was the big problem.
Yes.
And then
Well, that was a problem.
I've heard that it's still doing that with Justice League. Not.
I'll be honest. I was amazed Justice League came out last weekend. Like,
Why
there's
did you
been
say
so much marketing for it. Like, I expected it to be a big deal that it came out, and like people to be talking about it and hyped up about it. And like, I did have people on my feed showed up on Friday. They were like, "Oh, going to Justice League," and I was like, "Fucking, that's out already." But it was apparently a huge box office disappointment.
Yeah, I heard that, but I can't imagine. I feel like everybody would still go to it. I mean, it seemed more interesting than most of their previous ones.
I mean,
Everyone
I think
says,
if you're,
I haven't seen it, but
well, I think the difference is like, is it going to draw people to a movie theater who weren't going to go otherwise? Like, is it the best movie in the theater out right now? Yeah, probably. But is it going to draw people out the weekend before Thanksgiving who weren't going to go to the theaters otherwise? Which is what big tentpole movies do, right?
Right.
That's what Star Wars is going to do. Everybody's going to go fucking see Star Wars here in a few weeks, you know, regardless. But no, I think Justice League stumbles at the box office. Nabbed an estimated $94 million at the box office in North America this weekend. The number, was still big for an opening weekend, came in under the roughly $110 million the industry suspected. It's also the lowest opening for a Warner Brothers superhero brand, trailing films like Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Suicide Squad. So it is in the 5 spot for opening weekend. That's fucking bad.
And there's some bad movies on that list. So
yeah, I tried to give Suicide Squad another shot the other day, and like Man of Steel is only okay, but yeah, no, the fact that they're like, this is their Avengers, right? And it's in the 5 seed. Not that I don't know. Well, I don't know if Avengers was the 1 seed when it came out. I think it was, but
I think it's one of the top.
It had to be at the time.
But I don't know. It's a crazy business. You know, everybody looks at it now and they're like, "Oh, well, they should have done this. They should have done that." It's like that. Yeah, that's true, but they didn't know that when they started it. You know, they're trying to predict everything ahead of time.
Oh, hey, let's we didn't talk about this beforehand, but let's sidestep into this. So speaking of crazy businesses and Star Wars, EA is in a little bit of hot water right now. There has been an absolute internet uproar over their treatment of the Battlefield 2 franchise, or the Star Wars Battlefield franchise. Battlefield 2 covered in microtransactions, expensive ones. The internet absolutely hit the fucking roof when the pricing came out. So much so that they've had to walk back their pricing and even turn off microtransactions for the time being.
Yeah,
do you have a
right?
for now is what they say while they get their shit together. What's your take on all this?
So what I've heard.
Yeah, Fireball. I'm doing Fireball because I'm an alcoholic.
Of course. So what I've heard is that it's more of a first world problem sort of thing.
to Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Colon. Never gets any easier.
Yeah.
So the most of it, like when games have microtransactions, it's like you can get a fucking hat for your character or shit like that.
Sure.
It's all cosmetic. It doesn't affect the game, which I don't have a problem with. I'd probably be more likely to spend money on that than stuff that actually advances the game.
Right.
But apparently in this, you could pay a little bit of money and get some of the hero characters faster. Which sounds,
a lot faster.
Well, apparently it's not that bad. Well, if you play dedicated for a day or two, you can get everything apparently.
Calculation on Darth Vader was 40 hours.
Really?
That to me is a significant expenditure in a game. I think most Call of Duty single players are 8 hours at most.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm putting 40 hours into a game, I fucking love that game. That would be a big deal to me. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, I think in some cases that time expenditure was a big one.
Maybe I wonder how they calculate it, because I had a friend that posted that he thought it was ridiculous because he's been playing it for a day and a half and he had already unlocked like 2 of the heroes or something. And I see if you're having a progression of heroes, and you're unlocking, I don't really see much of an issue with it. If somebody wants to waste their money, that's theirs. But if it's like a huge jump like that, if it's like 40 hours before you can play one of the titular characters in a franchise,
right?
Yeah, that's
like a top 3 guy. Like you like Darth Vader's in the game, but I either got to pay more money on top of the $60 I've handed you, or play for 40 hours before I get to play him. Like that just seems, this isn't World of Warcraft, right? This isn't a massively multiplayer. This isn't a game designed to put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it. If that was the case, maybe I get, 40 hours before Darth Vader. I mean, this is a cash grab to me.
You're seeing more and more of that with games.
Which it's their right to make. I mean, Destiny went to a loot box formula this time around, and people were extremely unhappy. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's the mobile pricing market coming to full-blown video games, right? Except on mobile, we get most stuff for free, and then you pay to advance, as opposed to with video games, you're paying $60. Now, granted, the development costs on something like Battlefront are in another stratosphere beyond, Clash of Clans. But still, man, we got to draw a line in the sand at some point, right? Like, I do miss those fucking good old days where I handed you $60 and you handed me a complete game experience.
Yeah.
Done.
You can take this home and play it, not take it home and update it and then buy an expansion pack and a map pack and that cool hat for your character.
No, I mean, maybe we're overreacting. I mean, back in the day when we were kids, there were like fighting games, right? Like the Mortal Kombats, they'd come with locked characters. How many hours did you need to put in to unlock all of those? There weren't even like instructions on how to unlock them. You had to buy a fucking book to know how to unlock them, or know somebody who did. That was all pre-internet shit, right? Like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, there was no internet to figure out how to unlock smoke in Mortal Kombat 4. Like,
it makes you feel old, doesn't it?
It fucking does. I'll be dead soon.
It's like we just said before the internet, and it referenced our lives.
The Oregon Trail generation. Yeah, I mean, maybe we're just making more of it than we need to, but no, I just fucking give me the whole game on the disc. I'll give you $60. I'll give you $80. Is that what you want? You want to fucking turn up the price? It's fine.
It's just what you want.
Just give me the whole thing.
So what do you think about the sort of incremental systems that they've been doing. You know, there was the Xbox One and then Xbox One S, and then now the Xbox One SX or whatever. And PlayStation did the PlayStation 4 and then the PlayStation Pro. They keep doing these slight upgrades rather than putting out a new system. What do you think about that kind of shit?
Well, it's weird. Like it's a natural growth from the system wars, right? Because everybody used to have to come out with a system every 3 or 4 years for a while. And that would throw the entire industry into upheaval. And frankly, I didn't think was that good for anything, because the new generation of systems would come out and nobody would know how to fucking write or program for them. And so you'd have a year of kind of this desert wasteland. Again, it's another cash grab. Like, just fucking, you don't need to keep selling boxes to everybody, but I do like that the Xbox One X is abbreviated Xbox. That is clever to me, but fucking stop.
What is it abbreviated
as? Xbox One X is abbreviates Xbox.
Oh.
That's why it's called that. So we're like back to the fucking beginning.
Somebody needs to take the naming ability away from Microsoft, because they've just done a terrible job with that shit.
Yeah, like it was the Xbox, and then it was the Xbox 360, right? Well, there was no Xbox 2. It was the Xbox 360, and then the Xbox One, and then the One S, and then the One X,
and the One X.
I don't even know what the One X does, because the One S did 4K, right?
No,
the One S does not do 4K.
No, the S was just a slimmer design and had a little bit better cooling and everything.
Oh, okay, but the X does 4K.
That's more
Is anybody developing in 4K? Do the games output in 4K like natively? I bet there's no way, right?
Not really.
Yeah, but you could buy a fucking Planet Earth DVD and play it in there. Is that like what I'm supposed to be excited about?
Yeah, I don't know. That's like I was talking with somebody about how cheap TVs are now. You know, you can pretty much only get 4K televisions and stuff like that, and they're getting down stupid cheap prices. I don't know why anybody buys a top of the line TV anymore, because it's like a year later and it's obsolete.
Oh, I fucking bought a Vizio, the greatest purchase I ever made in my life.
Yeah, some of the cheap ones, man. I mean, even like Samsungs, because I'm sort of biased towards Samsung when it comes to TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can get like a 40-inch for like $300. It's like,
yeah. It's a good time to be alive. I remember the first time I saw a 40-inch flat screen television. It would have been a plasma screen back then. It was at a Best Buy, and it was $10,000. I was like, man, I'll never have one of those. Now what can you get a 40? What can you get a 40-inch television, flat screen television for? You can get one for $100 at this point on Black Friday. Maybe 200.
Yeah. If you just get like a regular LED, yeah.
Like some Chinese manufacturer, 40-inch LED, probably $199, right?
Or something like that. I mean, hey, what a great time to be alive. As long as you're into nerdy shit like we are.
Fucking living in the future is weird. That's the other thing that happened last week is Tesla had an event where they were gonna unveil their tractor trailer, and then Elon Musk is like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I brought the fastest production car in the world that we didn't say anything about with me. It does 0 to 60 in 1.9 fucking seconds. Have fun riding it, guys." What the fuck is this?
Oh, I didn't realize he was planning to announce something else, and then
it was all about the Tesla semi. Nobody knew he was bringing the Roadster.
That Roadster's nuts. Was it like 200K, and it's faster than all those like multi-million-dollar cars?
Faster than everything. Now, insane. The difference with the Roadster is, and this is the dark secret that nobody talks about. So the Tesla Model S, that's famous for its ludicrous speed, right? Like you put it into ludicrous mode, and you pound on the pedal, and it does 0 to 60 in sub 3. I don't know what the time is. I think it might be 2.9. It can only do that like 3 times, and then you've roasted your battery. So Now, apparently, the Roadster gets 600 miles to a full charge, which is fucking amazing. But it is not going to do 0 to 60 in 1.9 and get 600 miles to the charge. That is not happening.
But I mean, I think people understand that because I mean, if you drive a car conservatively or if you fucking gun it everywhere, you're gonna have a significant drop off in gas mileage. So
I don't know that's that's not the same. Like so you take like a Z06 Corvette, right? Like you could trash the balls off of that thing for 75 miles, right? Like you could drive it on a track for 75 or 100 miles as much as you want. But a Tesla isn't going to do that, right? It can't, like the battery won't put up with it. But yeah, I hear you. Hello, Jack. I'm sorry. My dog has interrupted the podcast once again. Should I hit you and make you yelp again awkwardly?
Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened on the one that the gas were on. Like I tried to pick him up and I got him weird and he was like, oh, it was fucking terrible.
Hey, puppy.
Thank you, Jack.
Latest guest on the podcast.
Night, babe. Yeah, I don't know. Living in the future is fucking bizarre. What else do we have? What haven't we hit yet?
I think we got all the major stuff. I mean,
Are we? We're kind of coming in for a landing. Do we do our card now?
I guess we can. Yeah. Unless you want to talk about net neutrality, that's a nice, exciting. I do fucking hate cable companies, so there's that. So any way I can tell them to go fuck themselves, that works for me.
It's so important, but I just don't have anything. I think the fight's. I think the fight's lost. Like even if we win this round, it's been won like 3-4 times. Like it's been going on since 2015. They've been trying to push this through. And now we've got Trump in office, and he's got his boy, who's the fucking telecom guy, as the FCC chairman. Like, I don't see any way, even if we fight this off this time, they're doing a vote the day before fucking Thanksgiving. You don't think this is because they want to slide something through? Like,
welcome to politics.
It's bullshit.
Yep.
It's bullshit. And before you know it, you're going to be paying by the website, and
just in case anybody didn't know, that's what it's about. Internet providers would be able to basically choose who gets how much service and everything. So people would have to pay extra if they wanted Netflix would have to pay extra if they wanted their content to stream at a reasonable rate and shit like that. It's giving more control to the companies and less to the consumer. And it's already a shit show when it comes to internet service providers.
See, that part sucks. And I don't like that for my wallet. My concern is now you're talking about control of information flow, right? You're talking about if Fox News pays the price and CNN doesn't, Fox gets to tell the story, or vice versa, right? MSNBC pays the price and Fox News doesn't. Well, now all of a sudden you get free content from MSNBC for any Comcast subscriber because they've paid the fee. And Fox decided they haven't paid the fee. And so now not only do you not get the free content from Fox, you got to pay $4.99 to get to Fox. Fox is slower. Maybe you can't video stream. So now all of a sudden the cable companies have the ability to control the flow of news. And that's what happened with the newspapers in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. And it caused a huge fucking problem. And now we're about to go through it again. And it's disgusting and it's terrible. And I'm disappointed, but fucking welcome to America in the 21st goddamn century.
Isn't the future fun?
I mean, yeah, I know. Like, I don't get to bitch. Like, you don't get to bitch when everybody has a fucking iPhone, but you got to fucking draw a line in the sand somewhere, right?
I think that's true. I never thought we'd have Would You Rather as a palate cleanser. Like all this depressing shit we talked about. So it was like, let's feel that, like grossing ourselves out, but talking about horrifying shit. There's no. This one's pretty modest, but we'll see. So, would you rather fire a gun 6 inches from your ear, or put a metal pail over your head and strike it 100 times as hard as you can with a hammer?
Is the pail making contact with my head?
I mean, it would have to, at least at some point, because it's resting on your
I'm
head.
just wondering. I'm wondering, like, am I taking damage? Am I taking impact damage from the hammer, or is this a noise comparison? You know what I mean?
I would say that maybe it muffles the damage a little bit, but you're definitely taking some damage. There's no way, even if it was like suspended or held above, you're still getting hit. I mean, you're not avoiding that.
I guess I got to go gun then.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like,
I don't need hitting that fucking head with a hammer 100 times. I'd be fucking brain dead. Even with a bucket on my head. What kind of bucket is it?
Metal pail. That's all it says.
I mean, yeah, I guess so I'm deaf in one ear. That sucks, but it's better than being fucking brain dead.
You might not even lose hearing. You'll probably lose some. You'll definitely be fucking deaf in that ear for a few days. But
I think it depends on the gun. I think it depends on a lot of things. It wouldn't be fun. You're right, but way better than getting hit in the fucking head with a hammer 100 times.
And it also says as hard as you can. It's not just like.
Now, I don't know how much velocity I can get into it. Now, is like fatigue a factor? Like, do I have to do it like 100 times in a row? Or is this assuming I can hit myself in the head 100 times as hard as I can the first time? Because like, I'm pretty sure I can only give myself 5 good shots before the pain sets in. And then maybe another 15 before my arm starts to get tired. And then it's just,
Either way, I think you have to lean in the direction of the gun. I think I'm
overthinking these cards is what I'm thinking.
That's what we always do. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's true.
We got to find out the details. All right. Would you rather not be able to shower or bathe for 1 month or not be able to brush your teeth for 6 months? I say shower or bathe.
So, and I feel like I brought this up on here before, maybe. So I saw an interview with a professor he's a biology professor, and he maintained that the human body is a self-cleaning organism and that we fuck all that up by showering all the time and scrubbing ourselves down with chemicals, basically. And that if you just stop showering, the body can regulate itself, but that it takes like a month to do that. And that month is horrible and you smell like a fucking garbage dump for that month. And then after that, you're fine. You never have to shower at all. That being said, I don't know.
I feel like you can tailor your activities to keep from it being that much of an issue.
What if there's an incident?
Well,
like you're not going to have a mouth incident, right? Like you're probably not going to eat shit or something like that. But like, what if you like fall in something?
Well, it doesn't say you can't wipe something off.
Oh, so like, is like a baby wipe shower acceptable? Is that what we're doing now? Like,
just dry paper towels. That's all that's allowed. No cleaner of any sort.
I figured it was just a solid month of Axe body spray that we were gonna go with. I'm gonna have to go no shower for a month. 6 months is a long time to not brush your teeth. I feel like it could really fuck with your life.
Lose teeth.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right. The shower. Would you rather eat a bottle cap or a spider the size of a bottle cap?
What the fuck? I assume it's non-poisonous. Like I'm gonna go with spider.
Yeah, I think I would too. Even though I hate spiders.
I was about to say you fucking hate spiders, don't you?
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, I think it would be really difficult to eat a bottle cap. Spider, I mean, once you crunch its dead, you're like gross, and then
I don't even know. Can you swallow a bottle cap?
Not without shredding your
right. So what do you? Oh, you got to fold it in half. That's what you got to do. Still, that's dangerous.
Yeah, because then you got like points on either side.
I got a little pointy bullet going through your bowels. You fucking perforate yourself. How much would I have to pay you to eat a spider the size of a bottle cap?
There was no amount of money.
Really? Like $1,000 in cash if I brought that and a spider?
I'd be so even as much as I love money, I would not.
Like
I could never do
$10,000 in cash.
All right, maybe $10,000.
$10,000 in cash would get you to eat that one spider. Okay.
That's like, what's it called? Fear factor. I could never do any of that shit. I'd be terrible at it.
My favorite. I don't mean to derail the segment. One of my favorite things is getting involved in a conversation with guys who it's like, and we've had this on the show before, where they're like, "There's no amount of money in the world that would make me suck a dick." It's really no amount of money in the world.
Like,
no amount of money in the world. Yeah, if you were like, oh, 400 grand, they'd be like, all right, once.
Like,
but you come across those guys. You mean $1 billion, $100 billion, and you wouldn't suck one dick? Nah, bro. Nah, no way, man. No way. That is so funny to me.
We should just do that more often. That'll be one of the segments. We just ask
every guest. How much money for you to suck a dick? Nah, bro. Nah. I couldn't do that. It's a dick, bro.
And then we'll ask it once, and then they'll say that, and then like every 10 minutes we just ask again like 100,000.
Just add a zero.
You'll get there eventually.
Start at like $400, and then somebody's gonna be like, "All right."
He's like, "Oh well, that's the fastest anybody's accepted."
My kid needs braces. Is it you? Who are gonna suck?
Plan. Lisa needs braces.
400 cash, right? Yeah. Okay.
Would you rather, as an adopted woman, find out that your real father is a serial killer, or that you once dated him for a month when you were in your 20s? I assume it means the serial killer, not the father.
God, that is a complicated question.
I reread it. It is, as an adopted woman, find out that your real father is a serial killer, or that you dated him once for a month. So it is talking about the father. So you date your father, or you find out he's a serial killer.
I see. So you were adopted. You're a woman. You were adopted when you were a kid. You find out later that your biological father was either a serial killer or a guy that you dated when you were in your 20s.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Serial killer. I don't care if he killed some people. I definitely wouldn't want to have been in an emotional relationship with a family member. That's gross.
You an emotional relationship? I was like, well, that'd be fucking weird.
Yeah. I didn't even want to get any farther than that. I'm not even bringing up that. Nope, leaving it. We're not going into any more details of this question. That's fucking disgusting.
Okay, fair.
Would you rather, as a woman, have quadruplets or have 4 babies all 10 months apart? I feel like those both suck on different levels, though. I mean, I'm pregnant, but my limited experience with it, the process.
I don't know. Women would. I'm assuming that the quadruplets are going to be healthy.
Right.
Right. Like, we're not going to run into quadruplet problems where, like, 2 of them die. Like, we're not, like, that's not the issue here. What we're saying is, like, do you want to be pregnant with 4 babies once or 1 baby 4 times? I'm going to get it out of the way. I'm going to go 4 babies 1 time. Maybe I get bedridden for a few months, but then it's all out of the way. Yeah, but then you got fucking 4 babies hanging around. That's a fucking pain in the ass.
That's tough. But
that's not what the question was about, though, I guess.
But if you think about it, at 10 months apart, they're all just at different stages of being babies. I mean, you're going to have, like, almost all of them in diapers at one time.
Yeah, you're gonna be pretty close. Yeah, which I've a lot of people gave me advice. They were like, yeah, fucking knock them both out of the way. Don't wait on it. I'm just thinking, like, so at that point you're pregnant for almost 4 years solid.
Yeah.
Which I have no frame of reference for, but it seems like it sucks.
Yeah, I'm just thinking I've only been secondarily involved with the pregnancy, and I would not want to be with a pregnant person for 4 years. Rolling
4
with being a
years.
pregnant person.
So yeah, I'm thinking one bad pregnancy followed by a year and a half of just swimming in shit and piss. But then kind of the road eases up from there. I got to go quadruplets.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. We didn't have a lot of variation on this one. We were all pretty like, yep, that's the way to do it.
I mean, I was ready to drag the is your dad a serial killer or an ex-boyfriend question into the ground, but you probably made the right call in getting us away from that.
Well, yeah, because I didn't need to go that far. I'd already decided on my answer before even making it that far. But that concludes another last call podcast.
Get back into the rhythm.
Yeah,
Be back here after Thanksgiving.
Well, let's hope everything doesn't catch on fire. We miss another week or anything, but I'll have more of our backlog episodes coming up either way. So there'll be plenty of more content coming.
I'm gonna fight 15 guys on Sunday one night. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but just everybody try it out.
Yeah, everybody should do once.
I don't recommend it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, checking us out here on YouTube. Thanks to Tristan for phoning in from the great state of Ohio. Just
My pleasure.
The place sucks.
Yep, true fact.
But thank you very much to everybody. We'll see y'all next time on the next last call.
See you.
Bye, bye, bye.